Welcome to Difficult Research. My name is Crushy Easton, and we are going to continue on with the group surrounding Chad and Lori Daybell. This is bigger than Lori and Chad. It always has been. Here it is. It's nuts. We were talking about Ken Krogh and how he is the CMO of the Spear Fund, which was him and Tim's nonprofit organization and human trafficking organization, nonprofit. It's where Tim went. It's where Tim went after he left Operation Underground Railroad. Okay. Ken Krogh is a multi-billionaire. I don't even know how to, I want to stutter. Now do you see? I've been like, I still don't even know. I feel like I'm putting my life in danger and my family's lives in danger by even talking about these people. We're not dealing with just Mormon elite. We are dealing with global elite. Whenever I saw BlackRock, I was like, the hell? Let me back up. Whenever I saw Victor Yoshenko, I think that's how you say his name, I backed up. This is big. Ken Krogh said earlier that he was friends with Bill Gates. So there's that. Anyways, let's continue on, or I'll just sit here and stutter step. So meet the team. It says the Spear Fund is dedicated to ending human trafficking. Okay, by funding and collaborating with experts, organizations, and concerned citizens from around the globe. With a mission to rescue and restore victims, we strive to make a lasting impact in the fight against this heinous crime. It's the Spear Fund. In their title, it says, light dispels darkness. Use your voice to help us spread the word. Press inquiries welcome. Ken Krogh is the UVU Silicon Slopes lecture series. And so I shared that in my last video, but did not have my microphone on whenever I was exiting. So you don't know what I didn't say anything because it didn't go through the microphone, right? I'll get better at this one day, I hope. There's a thread on the ex-Mormon subreddit. It's for articles and topics of interest to people interested in Mormon themes. People of all faiths and perspectives are welcome to engage in civil, respectful discussion about topics related to Mormonism. And so I just want to thank them for having this thread on there. It's by Devil's Ravioli and Chino Blanco. I want to say thank you to those subredditors for making this available. I appreciate it. Visions of a Glorious Thread. The Krogh, Meldrum, Harrison, Hildebrandt, Daybell, Rowe, Russin, Ballard connection, not to mention their sister organizations, OUR, let's go ahead and say the Spear Fund, Eternal Core, which is with Tom Harrison, right? And Jody Hildebrandt, Liberty 89, Visions of Glory, AVAL, Preparing a People. I'm going to go ahead and add Book of Mormon Evidence. That's Rod Meldrum's other nonprofit. And there's so many more. And CNF, which is Children Need Families. That's Catherine Ballard and Janet Russin, the psychic. Okay. That's that foundation. The disclaimer says a generous participant of our sub gave me their notes and firsthand experience concerning this subject. In an effort not to dox themselves, they gave me permission to post on the matter. I have significantly expanded on what they provided, and any omissions are my own. Below is my summary. Note that Chino Blanco has already shared pivotal pieces of evidence needed to establish this thread. Refer to his profile for more discussion on individual pieces of the puzzle. On 9/29/2023, Tim Ballard shared a short clip on Twitter from a Ward Radio live stream. Carden Ellis has taken significant time hunting down statements from those around Tim to address the current scandal. Carden, in the live stream, shared a statement made to him by Ken Krogh in defense of Tim Ballard. On September 29, 2023 at 7:15 p.m., Tim Ballard on X, or Twitter used to be, Ken Krogh, president of the Spear Fund, makes statement regarding the allegations against me.
And I will actually mirror the wording of Ken Krogh, who's the head of the Spear Fund. I found him to be a very transparent and ethical person. Whenever I call, he answers questions. He tells me what he can say, what he can't say, but I see him doing his absolute due diligence and his best to try and speak as honestly as he can. And he has said, look, I've put my name on 2 major companies that I've started, and feel free to use the word 100%. I think these are 100% false. And he says, you can even say the phrase, so help me God, right? He is so convinced that these claims are false that he's put his name on it. And we're going to get into some of these things he's been able to debunk for me, and also some of these things he's been able to confirm for me. But he said something else interesting. And he says, I understand that I am now intimately tied to this. I'm paraphrasing, but he said, let me tell you, I would be the first one. He says, I've been fighting this for 2 months now. He said, I've been fighting this for a while. And he said, let me tell you, I would be the first one to burn it down if I thought it was true.
Cardin Ellis has taken some significant time hunting down statements from those around Tim to address the current scandal. Cardin, in the live stream, shared a statement made to him by Ken Krogh in defense of Tim Ballard. Okay, now, who is Ken Krogh? He's the current president, CMO of the Spear Fund, and has a long and fascinating history of business ventures. He is probably most well known as the founder of InsideSales.com and his consulting entrepreneurship. He is a member in good standing and has consulted for the church in a number of capacities. Ken was also the head of OUR social media back in 2016. He suffered a significant head injury in a car accident in 2015. This moment seems to be significant. It seems to be a significant turning point in his life. As recently as 2019, his calling in the church was to manage social media for 30 Utah YSA stakes. In addition to his consulting, he has consulted for the church on a number of occasions. Ken is on the board of Liberty 89 with Brad Bauer. He's the son-in-law of Elder Ballard, a media company that was founded by Tim Ballard. So Ken Krogh is the founder of InsideSales.com. John Moreland is also a founder on the board of Liberty 89. He's a founding board member. Okay. And Brad Bauer is also listed as a founder. So there's 3 founders of Liberty 89, I guess, along with Tim. Liberty 89 was registered in August of 2016 from the recent publishing of the 75-page of investigative documents on OUR. We learn of a meeting held at Thanksgiving Point between Sherston Stockwell, OUR, Tim Ballard with OUR, Ken Krogh, Tom Harrison, and Hugh Vale, Liberty 89, as described by Sherston. Liberty 89 Elder Ballard. Sherston said Tim took her to a meeting in her official OUR work capacity to meet with people at Thanksgiving Point. The people at the meeting included Tom Harrison, Ken Krogh, Hugh Vale, Tim Ballard. Sherston said they claimed to have visions and special intelligence of the second coming. Sherston said that because she had shared some spiritual things and Tim found out about it, he, Tim, could share with her the more, quote, secret things that this is Tim talking, secret things that I'm involved in, unquote. Sherston said during this meeting they spoke about Liberty 89, America being a fallen nation, and how it was Tim's calling, and that's in quote, to do these things with OUR and restoring America to the covenant. Sherston said restoring America to the covenant was, quote, a big mission of his, unquote, and he was, quote, called of God to do this. Tim was very verbal about Elder Russell Ballard's involvement and behind it, but Sherston said she didn't know if she believed that. Sherston said Tim would say that M. Russell Ballard is a part of Liberty 89. Tim would tell us, but Hugh was there and Hugh was an employee. It would be more employees than just me. So now we go to Fox 13 investigation documents. Apparently, Elder Ballard was well aware of Liberty 89 and its mission to publish what appears to be American-centric nationalistic propaganda infused with Christianity. This was all to fulfill the American covenant, a religious theme presented extensively throughout Ballard's books. It is very important to note that Sherston said the participants, quote, claimed to have visions and special intelligence of the second coming, unquote. Who on the participant list provided is known to have had visionary experiences? Tom Harrison. Dun, dun, dun. Right? Thomas G. Harrison. Tom Harrison is a cognitive therapist with a 40-year career that has included teaching in multiple faculties at the University of Utah and private counseling. He is not currently licensed CSW in the state of Utah. Tom is a member in good standing and has significant ties within the church. Neighbors of Neil Maxwell and Spencer Kimball. Over the last decade, it has been rumored that Tom is the Spencer, whose visions are recorded in the best-selling book Visions of Glory by John Pontius. The book is filled with vision of the impending apocalypse and the LDS faithful's role in it. Lori Vallow Daybell was reading that book poolside in Hawaii when she was served papers. Recently, and they named me, Crusha Easton, a relative of Kay and Larry Woodcock, that's my parents, okay, published a series of videos on her YouTube channel, reading the transcript and playing the audio of a closed door 2012 Unblog My Soul reunion interview between John Pontius and Tom Harrison. I have not been able to verify the origin of this video and transcript since they are not on the official publication of the reunion, but Crush's recording obviously came from somewhere and the context appears right. Unblog My Soul was a blog run by John Pontius. It is abundantly clear in this recording and transcript that Tom is, quote, Spencer, unquote. Tom's multiple near-death experiences and supposed relationship with Neil Maxwell, the oft-mentioned unnamed apostle in Visions of Glory, and we'll say Janet Russin in her psychic recording, only legitimize his identity as Spencer. Also, most entrenched forums I encounter have made the same claim. It seems to be the consensus among adherents, and Tom is not denying it. The recent publication of the 75 pages of investigative documents only bolster this claim. Despite not being a licensed CSW, Tom continues to consult in quasi-official capacities. Tom was the co-founder of Eternal Core. I can't access an official website due to incessant malware warnings associated with their official website. I used to get this all the time with Book of Mormon evidence. I assume the web page has been abandoned, yet I can garner plenty of information from their official YouTube channel and other online resources. Tom founded Eternal Core with the help of Ken Krogh. Ken suffered greatly from his car accident and sought relief from the pain and the addictions he was fighting. Ken was introduced to Tom by none other than Rod Meldrum. Rod Meldrum actually had a son die, and it's a big to-do, an overdose, I want to say. And it had something to do with this big kingpin, Shemo or something? Aaron Shemo? I don't know. Anyways, Tom was able to provide relief to Ken. You can tell there's a serious, almost spiritual relationship between the two of them. The origin of Tom and Rod's relationship is a mystery to me, but they have both been involved with Mike and Nancy James of Preparing a People, Latter-day Media. Note that after the fallout of Julie Rowe, Chad Daybell, and Lori Vallow, Preparing a People slowly dissolved, and Mike and Nancy focused on Latter-day Media and their projects with Rod Meldrum and Avraham Gigliotti. Together, Ken and Tom created Eternal Core. But I want to insert right there. I remember the day I got an email from Book of Mormon Evidence, and it was September of 2021, and I was watching them hard because of the September thing. Every September, it seems to be, I'm going to say it, purge season. I don't know what else to call it. I don't know. When I got that email, it said something to the tune, and I'm paraphrasing here. We are no longer in a friendship or relationship or whatever. We're no longer using Preparing a People or Latter-day Media for our media services. I was like, okay, so that tells me right there that they just confirmed that they were, in fact, affiliated with Mike and Nancy James. And on my channel, I actually published the Fireside that came out, and it has Thor Furuseth, Jason Mao, Mike and Nancy James, Rod Meldrum, Dean Sessions, John Miller also. And it had Sean Littlebear. Yeah, that's posted on my channel. I can maybe link it in the description box below. Anyways, Eternal Core. Eternal Core is a community for practitioners and those struggling with mental and emotional health who are seeking treatment outside the bounds of modern pharmacology while maintaining the spiritual core of individual identity. The enmeshment of religion and counseling is apparent in their presentations. Here is the banner photo for their conference/Facebook page or conference Facebook page. From left to right, bottom row, Jessica Moss, she's OUR, Dan Gray. So Dan Gray is a therapist and co-founder of the Lifestar Network, which specializes in treating pornography addiction and businesses booming, right? That has to do with all the Jody Hildebrandt crap, okay? How Jesse Hildebrandt, who goes by them, they pronouns, said that they, whenever they worked and were being abused by their Aunt Jody Hildebrandt, that the Mormon Church was using their bishops. Basically, they didn't say all this verbatim. I'm kind of filling it in. They said that they would do the billing for their Aunt Jody while they were living there. They said pretty much all of the billing was to the church, or however that works. And so that's a whole nother sham all in itself that needs to stop. Okay, so from left to right, top to bottom, row 1, Jessica Mass, OUR, Dan Gray, which I just shared with you, Carrie Mercer, Alima Harrington, Alina Fong, Tony D'Angelo, Alicia Worthington. Row 2 is Jeanette Bennett, Tim Ballard, OUR, Tom Harrison, Visions of Glory, Clay Olson, Fight the New Drug, Jody Hildebrandt, Connections. Row 3, Unidentified, Ann Tanner, Tyler Schwab with OUR, Unidentified, Jessica Zurcher, Jacob Hess, Deseret News, and Nate Bagley. As you can see, there are several familiar faces on this banner. Since Eternal Core's focus is on counseling and addiction, mainly sex and porn, many of the individuals presented specialize in these fields. Of note, Jody Hildebrandt, the recently arrested, was a keynote speaker at the Eternal Core 2019 conference. Note also the presence of Clay Olson of Fight the New Drug. His organization organization has been criticized by professional therapists for some time. OUR. Significantly, I want to emphasize the apparent overlap of OUR and Eternal Core. As you can see, Tim Ballard has an existing relationship with Tom of Liberty 89 and has participated in an Eternal Core event. In addition to Tim, Jessica Mass and Tyler Schwab have ties to Eternal Core. Jessica Mass is the chief of aftercare at OUR, and Tyler Schwab is the OUR director of aftercare Latin America and has served as the senior aftercare country manager specialist. Sherston, in her interview with investigators, made mention of Jessica Mass. I'm going to read from the Fox 13 investigation documents, okay? Sherston says, quote, I do want to talk about aftercare for a second because Jessica Mass, she's a liar, she's a fraud, she's a joke. Sherston could not understand why a company as large as OUR had Jessica Mass in the position that she was in. Sherston said that in March of 2017, she believed that was the year, OUR was invited to the United Nations, globalist, as a guest of United Families. Okay, so as their guest, they would be allowed to speak or be on a panel and offer expert advice at the UN. So Tim Ballard, Matt Osborne, John Lyons, Jessica Mass, Kelly Couton, I don't know how to say it, were some of them that went to the UN. Jessica was going to be speaking, so she was required to provide her identification, credentials, and certifications. Sherston said Jessica kept avoiding providing her credentials. Jessica has traveled all over the world where she will speak and be on panels of various groups and tells them that she is an expert and an international therapist. When Jessica was checked, now this is highlighted, the investigators did this. So when Jessica was checked out, it was found that Jessica does not have any credentials and is not a licensed therapist. Jessica only had an undergraduate degree in biblical studies because she wanted to become a minister. However, Jessica is the one in charge of aftercare and the person to vet aftercare homes all over the world. This is worrisome right here. Sherston said Jessica tells everyone all over the world that she is literally the expert in aftercare. Sherston says that Tim tells everyone that they throw these expert titles around and nobody verifies them. There it is. For real. CIA, I question it. The Homeland Security, I question what he did there. I want papers. We want papers. The donors want papers. The victims want papers. I cannot believe that. Sherston said that Tim tells everyone and they throw these expert titles around and nobody verifies them. Nobody fact checks them except for Lynn Packer. High five. Thank you for your service. Big time. Sherston said that when her and a few others found out that Jessica did not have any of the qualifications that she was claiming, they went and told John Lyons and Jerry Gowan. She said that the leadership of OUR didn't care and kept promoting Jessica. I'm not shocked by this. You shouldn't be either. The level of depravity is out of this world. Sherston said that Jessica's end game was that she wanted to be a model, an actress, a celebrity, and be in the movies. In addition, Sherston claims that Jessica has met with high-ranking church officials, Elder Ballard and Elder Rasbin. Okay, so I'm going to go on and read that from the Fox 13 investigation documents. S.A. Luke, I don't know what S.A. stands for. S.A. Luke asked if Sherston was ever asked to go and meet with any high-ranking LDS church members. Sherston said that she did. Sherston said that she met with M. Russell Ballard privately with Tim Ballard, with another general authority, Elder Ronald Rasbin, who is over the Haiti area. Well, there you go. That's where Marty Gardy got kidnapped from, allegedly. Sherston stated that she met with Elder Russell Ballard and Tim Ballard privately at an OUR function. Sherston said that she did meet with Elder Rasbin in the church office building in a conference room with Tim Ballard, herself, Jerry Gowan, and Jessica Mass. Bam. That's Sherston said she was in a few private meetings with Elder Russell Ballard, not as a private church meeting, but he would come to an OUR event and they would meet in a VIP meeting. However, and this is underlined in purple, this again is from Fox 13 investigation. This is actual investigators documents highlight. This is their highlighting. However, Tim met with Elder Ballard once a month. That's also corroborated by Catherine and Tim themselves, or Catherine for sure. From my reading, one of the branches and significant relationships in and around OUR is the connection between OUR aftercare services and Children Need Families, that organization. It's a quasi-adoption aid service to help facilitate and fund child options that intersect OUR aftercare. This is so scary. Yeah, oh my gosh. So Tom Harrison, I heard Tim Ballard say it in a video that he was speaking somewhere. In that video, Tim said he referred to Tom as a brain specialist, and he said that Tom Harrison helped to heal the brains of the traumatized children that they would rescue. So just put a pin in that, because we don't know if there are any or where they're going, if there are. You know what I'm saying? Tim Ballard appointed Janet Russin, the psychic, as the head of CNF, Children Need Families. Janet Russin made headlines in recent Vice pieces exposing the supernatural methodology employed to locate unsuccessfully, mind you, Gardy Marty. The primal focus of OUR organizational and fundraising efforts, origin story, I do believe, is Gardy Marty. Evidently, Janet has had a working relationship with Jessica Mass. In the recent Davis County publication on pages 65 and 66 of 75 is the email communications between Troy Rawlings, Sean Reyes, who's the Utah Attorney General, and Spencer Austin. In one of the emails from Troy to Reyes and Austin, he attaches an example of Janet Russin's readings. It's in WAV format. At this point, we don't have access to the audio recording, but we get a taste from what Troy has included in here. See below. And so I do think we might have this now, because this was 2 months ago, and now this is now, but I'm going to read it. From Troy on February 9, 2023, emphasis is mine. Okay. Certain litigation is taking place under seal with respect to Mr. Timothy Ballard and Operation Underground Railroad, who you are. A very small sliver of over 2 terabytes of information. That's a lot of information. A very small sliver of over 2 terabytes of information. Evidence is attached to give you a flavor of some of the issues, with a second email that has a Janet Russin reading attached. Janet Russin talks to dead Mormon leaders, particularly a Mormon prophet from 600 BC named Nephi, to get intel to where to find Gardy Marty in particular, but also with respect to a slew of other things. As I understand it, we have somewhere around 10,000 pages of Janet Russin readings as part of the investigator case files. Donors are not made aware that Nephi, via Mrs. Russin, is the key piece of OUR operational intelligence. It goes on to say, forwarded attachment email from 2/3/2023 came across while looking for other items. To give you a flavor of a relatively benign Janet Russin reading she provided to Tim Ballard, Janet purportedly received such revelations to direct operations money is solicited for. Context. So this is the emphasis added. Context. Nephi, to Mormons who believe, basically, was an ancient book of Mormon prophet who lived approximately 600 BC. Nephi is the individual who provides intel for the Gardy Marty location / operations in particular. The Elder Maxwell mentioned, who gives the microphone to Nephi at some point, is, we believe, a Latter-day Mormon apostle who died in 2004. That ties back in with Visions of Glory, Tom Harrison, if you don't know. Apparently in Russin's reading, not only does Nephi make an appearance, but so does the deceased Elder Neil Maxwell, former apostle of the LDS Church, the mentor of Tom Harrison of Visions of Glory, and I guess, former neighbor. Okay, referred to throughout the book. Russin seems to be well aware of the significance of Elder Maxwell in visionary spheres, thus linking OUR to the apocalyptic faction of Mormondom, piloted by, most recently, the supposedly meek Tom Harrison. Conclusions. The spheres that encompass OUR, Eternal Core, Liberty 89, Preparing a People, Firm Foundation, Book of Mormon Evidence, AVAL, and the Firm Expo, the Firm Expo, and Visions of Glory overlap significantly, and it should be no surprise these personal and professional relationships exist. The worst of the theology espoused in these spheres has made itself manifest in the form of Chad and Lori Daybell and my family that was murdered, right? Did I mention Lori was reading Visions of Glory poolside when she was served papers in Hawaii? Right. And it's also on the nightstand of photos that were taken the day my uncle was murdered. Charles Fallow was murdered by Lori and Alex, allegedly. Alex is dead. Lori has not been convicted yet. So with the newfound revelation that Tom Harrison was involved in Liberty 89 and has supposedly consulted with church leaders before, I can't help but believe Elder M. Russell Ballard is aware, this was before he died, at least tangentially, of what is going on in these spheres. Elder Ballard's son-in-law, the frequent face of his shadow relationship with OUR, his continual presence on the board of Liberty 89, only bolsters my belief that Elder Ballard is tangentially aware of of what is going on. Either that, or he hasn't connected the dots right in front of him. And being he's a prophet, seer, revelator, right? Bullshit. Related. Connected, I think. The ever-present terrible revolution persists on the fringes of the LDS Church. As recently as last month, Latter-day Media, run by the organizers of Preparing a People conferences, this would be Mike and Nancy James, run by the organizers of the Preparing a People conferences and friends of Tom Harrison, were publishing videos of lively book club discussions of Visions of Glory. Yeah. Ugh. Helena. The need for mysticism and explanations for these all too frequent near-death experiences is alive and well. The fear of an impending apocalypse has not squelched these individuals, but has only emboldened them. They frequently use the names of general authorities to bolster their claims, right? The public discipline and abuse of power wielded by Stuffer, Stroud, Rowe, Daybell, and Ballard is only the tip. They're saying is only the tip of the iceberg. Until Thomas Harrison and his book Visions of Glory are officially denounced, the LDS Church will have to face this Hydra cult born of 19th century Latter-day apocalyptic thinking. Then it goes into the comments. And so that I'll do that on a separate video. So make sure that you are subscribed to Difficult Research. Click the notification bell. Consider becoming a channel member, and we're going to do some live streams going in depth into this. So that's a members only thing. If you don't mind, just help share and be sure to comment down below, because it really does help with the algorithm. Lord knows that I fight constantly with being shadow banned pretty much because of the crap I got to talk about. This is crazy crap. Algorithms and stuff like that, they don't care for the crazy crap. And it's not my crazy crap, but here we are. Again, I thought of something earlier. You can't spell the word victim without Tim. Just saying. Justice for Tylee, Charles, Tammy, JJ, and Joe. Love always wins. You guys are proof of this.